Alright, do a quick review of that there. Is that a cucumber?
What is beer?
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of The Thursday Show. It is a beautiful Thursday night. We are streaming at 9:30, thanks to My Two Words.
Close to 9:30.
Close to 9:30, 9:30-ish, thanks to My Two Words, which is a little thing going on campus that was taking Drew away from us. So, being the jealous lovers we are, we got Drew back before we decided to start streaming. So, today we are starting a new segment we call Your Week in 30 Seconds.
All right, give me a second.
We have a neat graphic. We're about to roll it.
Talk for a minute. I have to set up the...
So, as the name implies, we talk about our week and we have to keep it in under 30 seconds. Now let me tell you, mine's going to be a tragic tale because this has been one heck of a week, but I'm not going to get into it yet. So,
I don't even think I can go 30 seconds.
Yeah, I don't
That's
think
what
I
she
can
said.
go 30 seconds.
I could probably rant for a solid 30 seconds about one day, and that was today.
We can,
Today was a hot mess between two hot mess buns
All right,
with hot mess sauce.
let's test this out real quick. And all right, just making
Welcome
sure
back.
that everything's working. Now that we've got remote, somebody just texted me the word gay.
Who is that?
Probably one of Colin's friends. All right. Well, that's it. We're going to ignore texts from now on in the stream. Okay. All right. So let's jump right into your week in 30 seconds. Let's put a clock on the bottom of the
Who's going
screen.
first? Drew, go
Daniel, go.
Daniel.
All right, my week. So, started off, I ran out of contact lenses. I went to class, and the left one fell out, so that was tragic. So now I'm wearing glasses the whole time. I had a decent weekend. I played tennis. I won. But yesterday, I had a lot of homework. Toilet got clogged at midnight. I had to go find a plunger at 1 a.m. Did a whole lot of running around. Today, had a lot of work. Stampede came out. Go read it. It's cool, but I've been very busy. And I've got like 2
And
minutes
time's
to sleep.
up. All right. Let's see here. So, would you care to elaborate on?
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Should we
and-
go down this road?
The hole in my foot that I blasted with my belt buckle 2 weeks ago is finally healed.
Oh yeah, show us.
Ew.
Nice.
see it.
I can't see it on stream, but trust me, it's better.
All right. Next up on your week in 30 seconds, let's have Drew. Ready? Your week in 30 seconds. And go.
Well, I'm only taking 14 hours of class, maybe 13, I can't remember. So I don't really go to class much. So Monday I sat around until 11, went to Bible class. Took a test Tuesday, which was really hard. I got a 100 on it. Merry Christmas to me. Tuesday, can't remember what I did. Wednesday, can't remember what I did. Today, didn't really do much again. So that was my week with 3
All
seconds
right.
to spare.
And you're out of time. All right. So who's next on?
You, Brent.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's go ahead and put 30 seconds back on the clock. I didn't really think about how I'm gonna have to do that. I have to do this every time. All right. So in this week, okay, Drew. All right. I started. I was really stressed, and all right. This is distracting. I'm gonna
You
reset.
can start over.
I'm resetting my timer. So yeah, I didn't think about how I would have to put this every time. All right, Drew. All right. You know what? Drew is just gonna make popcorn with a chair stuck to his butt. I don't exactly know what's happening right now.
I don't know how that happened.
All right, actually, let's have our special guest Michael go. Ready? Michael, you've got 30 seconds.
That's you. That's you. No, I'm just
Nobody
kidding.
say anything.
Wow, this is some serious subtweeting.
Everyone just stare intently at the camera. Like just stare into Michael's soul if he's watching.
This feels a bit rude.
Did I say Michael? I meant Gary. Yeah, Gary.
Gary.
Come on. All right.
Gary.
My week in 30 seconds involves doing a lot of Christ and culture work. I did a lot of Christ and culture work. We made 2 videos, or we made 1 video for this stream that we're about to show here in a little bit. That took forever. I went to internship. Drew's making popcorn. I ate a lot. This week was pretty uneventful. Also, I turned 21, so.
Yeah, it was his birthday, Loki.
Happy
No one
birthday,
cares.
young man. Welcome
and
to
that was
adulthood.
my
Just
week
kidding.
in 30 seconds.
Oh.
That's you can see that on. Nice.
It's a bit stainy.
Also, I grew this pepper. I know that's out of time, but look at it.
Congratulations.
It's so red.
Oh, this could get Oscar.
I found out too about our garden this week. Who was it that works with the
Oh,
lady?
I gotta go.
The maid? Hannibal works with the lady who cleans this place.
Yeah.
And she thinks the garden is the RD's and was talking about how much she hates him because of the garden. She has no idea that it's ours.
What do you mean? It is the RDs. What are you
Yeah.
talking about? Who?
Yeah.
Wait.
Not our
So Hannah.
garden.
Who's Hannah? Is she a student?
Yeah, she's on my team.
Oh well, then screw. I don't care what she thinks.
No, I'm just saying, it's funny that the cleaning lady gets mad at the RD.
Oh, the cleaning lady.
Yeah. We just found out through Hannah that she was getting mad.
Oh, okay. See, I thought you said that Hannah.
But
was
she didn't
I
say
was
anything.
like,
Hannah didn't say anything. No.
Hannah thinks it's funny.
Oh, okay. Well, then, yeah, I appreciate
you,
that.
Hannah.
But come on, what? Why would
Might
she
be.
get mad about that?
She said it's hard to. Oh, there he is.
Hey, look, it's Michael.
Woo!
The staring into the soul worked.
Um,
Alright, I'll be back in a minute though.
um,
What's up, everyone?
You're not
it's
Michael.
jelly. When you type in Kelly and
Okay.
anything,
Well,
Everyone
it
type
corrects
in
to
Michael.
jelly.
Get over here in the chat.
I actually have to go, so I'll be back.
All right,
around,
well.
around 10.
That's our guest, Kennedy Weber. Thanks for coming by.
She'll be back later to talk about things.
Okay, bye.
All right, Drew.
Sorry.
That's necessary.
I think we should tell a story about something that happened in one of our weekly stories. Daniel.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, tell the viewers.
I was laying in my bed last night at what time was it? 11:30. Trying to go to
It was
sleep,
right about midnight.
and I hear, "Oh, I wonder who has a plunger. You think the RD has a plunger? We need a plunger really bad." And there's all this commotion going on. So I walk out, and I walk into the bathroom, and lo and behold, Daniel and Brent are in there with a clothes hanger, doing something.
This is not our proudest moment.
So, I'm not going to name names, but somebody clogged the toilet. And it was pretty bad. And
Yes, the popcorn's tasty.
we couldn't really get it unclogged. So we went on a little escapade to try to find a plunger. But no one had one in our building that we could get a hold of. So we tried to adapt and tried to see if we could unclog it with a unfolded coat hanger. That didn't work at all.
It pulled the toilet paper out of the toilet,
Oh
so
my-
it halfway worked.
It was a good
Not
idea.
really. It was good in
I'd like to
theory.
think. Yeah, it was good in theory, but it just didn't work well, and it wasn't sanitary. So we ran around for about 45 minutes trying to find a plunger until we finally came back to our building in defeat and found our RD, the gardener, and he offered to let us use his plunger, and we unclogged it at 1:30 in the morning. Well, it was about 1:10. And I then proceeded to have to do an entire essay that night.
And then I finished
Thus-
making the segment that we
Thus,
that we're
my
gonna
30
show you.
second, or my week in 30 seconds being a bit negative.
How late were you up working on this essay?
It was about 1:40. I was pretty tired. I actually only watched probably 20 minutes of the hour-long video we were supposed. Well, it was about 40 minutes of the hour-long video we were supposed to watch.
Are you talking about For Christ and Culture?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Capitalism, am I right? Anyways, Michael, now that you're here, I would like to propose that you do your week in 30 seconds. Don't think, just go. We're putting 30 seconds on the clock right now, and go.
Alright, so it's been a semi-stressful week. It's hard to run one of the things I'm in charge of. I'm in charge of the stream team, so along with Daniel here. It's been kind of stressful because it's difficult to get people to sign up, especially for games that are possibly during school time. So it's really hard to convince people to sign up to help us out for these. And so that consumed a lot of my week and a lot of yesterday.
All right, 30 seconds is up. How does that make you feel?
I feel like a young man again.
Tiptoeing in my door.
It kind of annoys me to try and get people for these when they're unwilling. Daniel and I do graduate in May, and someone else is going to have to take over. But if we can't get people to sign up for these games, we can't continue to teach people how to do or run our equipment or get everything together, so we can have a backup plan for after we graduate. Because eventually, Daniel and I will graduate, and we need someone who's willing to put in the work and learn from us and learn how to do this.
There's a decent amount of technical stuff that goes along with this, because we are setting up like an entire streaming on the go. It's not like we already have our equipment at the fields ready to go.
Right.
We drag it there, all 4 billion pounds of it, and then slap some wires together and make a neat little streaming salad. And little Jimmy, who doesn't know which end of an XLR cable is the male or female end, is not going to do a good job. So we have a pretty limited pool of people who can take over for us, like after we're gone. So, yeah, we're kind of looking for the Luke Skywalker to our Obi-Wan Kenobis right now.
Also, it's very unfortunate when we have to go over anatomy when we're teaching cables.
Yeah.
It's very unfortunate.
Don't think about it too hard.
There's a male and
Your
female.
instinct is probably
Yeah,
right.
explain
There's
that a
male-
little more.
Okay, so there is a male and a female.
Not too much,
end.
though.
I'm not going to go into too much detail, but there are two ends to each cable. Usually there's a male end and a female end.
And one-
If you understand human anatomy, you should be able to figure out which
This
cord
is-
goes to which side.
Pre-21st century human anatomy, I'll say.
Okay, yeah, pre-21st, the typical, there are two, like...
One of
that
them
have
fits
or
and
the
one
other.
of them doesn't.
Like, that is how these cables work.
Cables can't be gay. That's all I'm saying.
There is a male-to-male connector or a female-to-female
I feel like we need to like
Yeah.
show this right now.
But
Maybe not. I don't know how to
I
put
don't
that
think that
stuff
should put
live.
graphics up.
Put,
So,
up,
anyways.
put up the censor bar.
Moving on.
That'd be funny.
We have a cool little video to show you guys, and we'll probably do that later in the show. So
It's
stay
great.
tuned.
It is absolutely great.
with holding
These
a,
two haven't even seen the whole thing yet. Only
That's
Drew
true.
has seen the whole thing.
Yeah,
To
it's
quote Nick Joel Baylor, it's 10 out of 10.
Yes.
it is 10 out of 10.
That's what
We
we
should put
strive
a
for.
seal on it that says 10 out of 10.
10
It's
out of 10.
withholding a long-held Milligan tradition.
Here at the
That's true.
Thursday show, we strive for 10 out of 10 quality content.
Yes.
And that is a direct shout out to Nick Baylor.
Yes.
Boom.
I hope
May
you
or may
watch
not be
this
watching.
one day.
Donate
Listen
$1,
to
Nick
them.
Baylor.
These
And
are all
I'll unbutton
archived
the
to
next
our-
button.
These are all archived to the YouTube channel, so you can come back and watch these anytime, just so you know. Also, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, everybody who's watching,
Yes.
because I can't make money from this YouTube channel until we hit 100 or 10,000 views.
Oh gosh.
So,
And that's enough to
and
make
I also,
like
I
1
also,
cent off the video.
because I can't make money, I can't get sponsorships like for Ale 8 that we
That
drink
we
a
have
lot of.
live.
We have a lot of Ale 8. Anyways, we would love for Ale 8 to sponsor us, but we need 10,000 views. So share this with all your friends, everybody.
Yeah.
Share this
Anyways.
with all 10,000 of your friends.
Shameless plug over.
So, while we're on the subject of lacking shame,
Oh.
I'm not going to lie, I absolutely lost my mind at Titanfall 2 a moment ago, playing online with some people really fond of crouching and uncrouching
I
on
thought
dead
you were-
bodies, which is rude. So, that brings me to a topic for you guys. What is, within reason, like able to say it on the stream, what is the absolute angriest you've been at something you really shouldn't have been mad about?
Ooh.
Drew, hit it.
I heard you yelling at something today.
Oh yeah,
And
that was it. That was.
I thought someone
technical.
was breaking into your room.
They were.
And I was
They were
like,
breaking into my feelings.
I was like, wait. Yeah, I'm gonna have to have a minute to think about this.
I'd like to interject and say that there was this one person who shall remain nameless,
Unless I can figure it out and I'm screaming their name.
who would like to park their car in.
Oh, I remember these.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I'm going to admit on the stream that I probably shouldn't have been so mad about that, and that's a little bit of a step forward for me, but
Yeah.
dang
Wait.
if it didn't piss me off.
Remember when we were mad at each other, Brent? We were so mad at each other freshman.
Yeah.
At the end of freshman year, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Or was it it was sophomore?
it was because there was something you wouldn't take me with you to go take pictures.
I didn't want to go all the way to an airport to take
Hey.
night pictures. That was an hour. It was like an hour both ways.
It wasn't to take night pictures. It was,
was.
to commit a crime. That's what I was going to do it for.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't want to be your getaway driver for this. So we ended up we spent
They had like
3 months.
3 month long feud.
We would walk past each other in the hall and just not look at each other. We were that mad at each other, and it was dumb. We were just being really stupid the whole time.
But thankfully they got over it, and here we are today.
Yeah. Now we live together, guys, and plan on living together in the future.
That's right. Speaking of which, Michael, I have to talk to you after this stream
Okay.
about something important that I told Daniel about.
Okay.
But we'll wait until we make final
That's
arrangements
irrelevant to the stream.
to announce that.
Awesome.
Anyways.
I'm happy to talk about it.
absolute angriest. Hit us.
Absolute angriest I've been in the last month
That's something dumb.
Remember when I burned your?
is... Okay, I'm gonna think of something that Brent did to me.
Remember when I burned
Because I've
down
been mad at
web
Brent.
freshman year?
Ooh, I've got a Brent story.
Hold on. All right, remind me.
Oh boy.
This is just going to turn into a Brent roast.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. What did you do?
I'm gonna
Remind me.
I'm talking about burning down web freshman year.
Oh yeah.
Hashtag popcorn gate.
Yeah, I was really mad at
Brent
that.
was the fire king freshman year.
Oh yeah.
Fire guy. He left his cheese pita in the toaster.
I'll have to say I was pretty mad about the dishes, and I shouldn't have got that mad. So I apologize to everyone.
I thought it was a really funny way you
Actually,
handled
no,
that thing.
but it
was pretty
you had all
appropriate.
rights to be upset about this.
Yeah, but I was a little too upset.
Yeah,
those
but
of-
you still,
So yeah, that was.
Your reaction might have been over the top, but it was still,
I
it
thought it
was
was pretty funny.
hilarious.
We
Like
got
I mean, I loved the reaction. It honestly,
Because our viewers don't have context to this, we could try and give them what little context is appropriate.
So basically, the rest of us in here did a pretty bad job of doing our dishes. We will openly admit it. I did a pretty bad job. Other people did too. And poor Drew was stuck having to wash the dishes all the time. And one day he got tired of it and let us know in no uncertain terms that he would not be washing our dishes anymore. And I got this text.
No, it was a group. Or
it
It was a
group
Facebook message.
We have a group message for our suite.
Yeah.
Just so
I got this while I was at the tennis courts, and
Yeah.
when I got back, my sweaty self quickly went to the sink and washed my dishes.
Yeah, it was a little. I'm sorry about that.
he left all the silverware in the sink though.
I was okay. Yeah.
It was
For
a good
you.
memory, though.
So
Just for you.
I'm just I have to say that's the maddest I've been in a while.
We have
I've been mad, so
a request to shout out to Colin, Grant, and Call. Wait, hang on.
Cal.
I'm getting these text messages so mad, or so
so mad.
so
Brent
quickly.
is so mad.
He
about
is
these
enraged.
texts.
We are
text
talking about
messages.
anger, but everybody can read the texts. I'm getting texts literally like non-stop over here. Both the lights texts and also the just messages. So let's take just a quick hot second and respond to some messages just to get it out of the way here.
not getting
This
out of
person
the way. You
says
want to do it.
73 is the gayest number. Can anybody elaborate on that?
That doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense.
Famous something.
Let's say 11 is.
I can't see. All right. There are so many texts. This says Grant. I don't. It just says the word Grant. Oh, it's Grant. All right. Yeah. So, anyways, that was a little bit of our show that we like to call.
Hey,
Please
Grant.
stop texting me.
Pretty sure parents watch this show, so watch yourself, young man.
Yeah. I mean, 73.
Yeah,
73 is not
nothing
really
bad.
that gay. I mean,
73 is one of my favorite numbers. All right. So it could be whatever it wants to be.
Okay.
All right, I think we're
Uh,
venturing too far.
when
here.
Kennedy gets back, I want to talk about money, which is a great topic for a live stream with little
Yeah.
kids. But also, I just want to talk about it
That's fair.
because we were talking in the comm building about. I brought up mattresses. So you're driving down the street and you look left and right and you see mattresses everywhere, right? Mattress stores,
Mhm.
and they all say 0% APR financing, blah blah blah, because nowadays people put down payments on mattresses and pay off mattresses. I don't get it, honestly, but well, this is what I'm talking about. So give me some other perspectives here. Would you guys put a down payment on a mattress or a phone? Nowadays, it's becoming so common for companies like Apple or Google or something to make.
Those are creeping, by the way.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what that is.
That's why
to
Kennedy
make,
left.
uh,
Shouldn't go to that.
Okay.
They make these products like the iPhone 10 starts at $1,000, which is ridiculous, in my opinion, to pay $1,000 for a phone, just the base model. But they make it like attainable. All right, that's kind of annoying. Are any of
Yeah.
your windows open?
In case.
Okay, well, anyways, so they make it seem more attainable by breaking it down into little microtransactions, like $20 a month for 2 years. You know, instead of what?
So somebody just hit something out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, sorry, keep going.
Keep
Oh yeah. Well, anyways, so the iPhone. All right, I'm getting
biting the
100,000
mic.
microphones.
Yes, Drew was biting the mic.
Okay. Anyways, but you guys know what I'm talking about, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apple they do what, I don't know what it's called, like Apple next iPhone, or I don't know what it's called, but
I don't know their plan, but, like, I get it. I know what
you
you're
buy
talking
the
about.
phone and you pay $30 a month or however much for
Yeah.
2 years. So you're basically paying a 2-year contract to this company for a phone.
But what's the difference between that and paying rent?
Rent on what?
Like a house. So if let's say you rent a house.
You get to keep the phone in the end.
Yes, I get. Okay, so, but if you're paying off a lease when you're renting something,
Right.
so like you're basically renting this product until you own it.
Yeah, you don't own it until you pay it off.
Yes.
Right. So I mean, just like with anything you're taking out of,
Yeah.
anything like.
So
if
the
you buy
thing
the
with
credit
renting
card.
your house, or like especially a house paying payments, I mean, you can't pay like $200,000 out of your pocket.
Right.
Right. So that's a house though.
Yeah.
But I think if
Like
you want a
with
new
products, like
if you want a new
phones and
phone
stuff.
or a mattress, and you're prepared to drop $1,000 for a phone, with interest, when you pay that 2-year plan for $1,000 phone, you're gonna end up paying closer to $1,300 or $1,400
Mhm.
instead of if you had just saved up $999, paid it up front plus tax a little bit.
But that's way out of price range for a lot of people. So being able to pay this monthly price, even if you end up paying more in the long run, you might not be able to afford $1,000 phone just right off the bat. Like as a college student, I can't just be like, I want to buy this $1,000 phone, but I don't want to have to pay for it over time. But I can't just pay out of pocket to get this product in this situation.
Okay, to that I'd say, I think you said it yourself. You can't afford this phone. You said in the long run.
In the long run, I'm saying that I can afford this phone.
Right.
I'm saying currently I can't just open up my wallet and pay the $1,000
Right.
for this
Creakers
phone
are
right
back.
now.
Right. I would argue though that if you can't pay for the phone right now, you can't afford the phone.
Okay, but how does that go into other things? So if, like, you're paying off your house.
Okay, I think a house is different because
No, well-
in almost nobody in this economy would be able to save up money and live nowhere and save up money and just buy a house out of pocket or a car for that matter. I think when it gets into about 5 figures, that's when it gets dicey. But like a phone or a mattress or something, I think that if you don't have a phone and you need a phone and you are gonna buy the newest iPhone, I think that's dumb. I think that if you don't have a phone, you can't afford to buy a phone up front, and you don't want to wait and save up money, then buy something you can afford and then use that until you can afford to buy a different phone. Like buy a $200 Android phone and use that until you're prepared to buy an iPhone. Just taking out a loan on something that is like 3 or 4 figures just seems like, especially if it's something that you don't absolutely need, or at least don't absolutely need that standard of whatever it is. So like a phone, you don't absolutely need to have an iPhone 10 just to be able to call, text, and check your internet. You can get a phone that does that for $150.
Well, I mean, it makes sense from a personal finance point of view to say, yeah, go ahead, buy it up front, because most of the time it'll be cheaper.
Yeah.
But think about it from the business standpoint for the companies. If they didn't offer a plan to let people, rent to own, more or less, then they would completely lose out on this entire segment of the market of people who can't afford to pay up front.
Right.
And
I think that's a little bit predatory, don't you think?
I mean, maybe so, but the people get the phone. You
target people with low incomes.
The bottom line is money here. It's not about the people. It's about how I, as a company, can make more money. And
I know.
That's usually the bottom line. And it's not necessarily being predatory. It's just, I need to make money. This is how I can make money.
I think the companies are already making a ton of money, and now they're just saying, here's how I can make even more money.
Well, yeah, but they're also giving people who normally couldn't afford this phone a way to afford it.
Yeah.
So you could argue that it is like helping people, even though it is, kind of screwing them over in the long run.
Yeah, I think that it has to do with instant gratification. And Sean says, well, Americans are probably the most fiscally irresponsible, so they choose these options. People typically think short term instead of long term. And I totally agree with that, because I think that if you wanted to buy an iPhone 10 when it came out and the price point was $10,000 or $1,000, then and Apple has a history of making phones that are about in the $700 or $800 range. I'd say if you wanted to buy an iPhone 10 and be comfortable with it, then start putting away money like a year before. If it's going to take you that long to save up and buy a phone, what are you laughing at?
I burped into the microphone, and for some reason I was expecting the chat to be like, "Ooh, that's stank," but I didn't really think that through.
Well, anyways, somebody just texted me and said, "What if you're broke? If you're broke, don't buy an iPhone 10. Come on. If you don't have a reliable source of income, you need to prioritize yourself differently."
Yeah, flip phones are awesome.
Okay.
I'm gonna get
flip
one.
phones get the job done.
Yes, you're right. They do.
Real point. I'd like if I was living on a fixed income of, I don't know, like what's a reasonable income?
$750 an hour. Just kidding.
$1,000, $2,000 a month. What is that? $24,000 a year.
That's pretty.
If I had two.
Fairly low.
All right. Okay.
It's typical like.
If I had
police.
$2,000 a month, $24K a year, and I'm living by myself, I don't have like a wife or kids or anything, and I have rent that's maybe what, $500, $600. I have the rest of it for grocery, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to just say, oh, this month I'm going to spend half of what I got on an iPhone. I'm going to start putting away bits and pieces of it until I can finally afford it. And if I need something to carry me over through those months, however long it takes me to save up, because ideally you'd be saving up you'd have your, an emergency fund, you'd have just a general savings. If it takes you so long to save up for that you don't have access to a phone, first off, there are tons of free alternatives to phones, like Google Voice, for instance, which is, I think it's great. But anyways,
or 2 cans and a string.
Shameless plug for Google right there.
Yeah.
For Doolittle.
So anyways, but you can buy a $150, touchscreen Android phone from like a generation or two ago. That still works just fine. and still have your apps and Facebook and all that stuff that phones do these days. I mean, sure, you wouldn't have dual camera, optic 4K, video, but yeah, you're not going to have that. If you can't afford a phone, you don't need. If you can't afford to shell out $1,000 if you can't just write it off, then yeah, that's not something that you need to be worried about.
I think it depends on the situation.
Yeah.
Also, that's counter-cultural, what you're suggesting there. Our culture kind of recommends that, we buy it because we want it, not just because we need it. You've got 2 laptops running right in front of you, and you have a large 2-screen desktop computer in there, and you've got a nice TV out here. Did you buy them all because you needed them or because you wanted them?
Well, because I wanted them.
Exactly.
But I was also able to afford them. I had a job that paid me money, and I had it was back in a time when I lived with my parents and I didn't have any other, any things to worry about, like rent or groceries or something. So, obviously, like, if I was, what?
I hate your spelling, Grant, but I love you.
Oh. Sean says, I paid 99 cents for my previous iPhone that was an older model, but that was before they started this monthly payment setup. I want to ask, was that with a contract from a carrier? Because that's a whole entire different can of worms, and I think under no circumstances should people buy phones from a carrier. But that's for many, many reasons, and they're not just related to money. And then he also says, you could even buy an iPod Touch and download calling apps that use iMessage over Wi-Fi. That's absolutely true. Or you could just buy a phone. Hey, can you not do that? I guarantee you everybody in the stream hears that. Anyways, you could buy a blue phone from Best Buy, BLU, the company BLU. They're made out of China. And they'll charge you $150. Don't buy a SIM card, just use it on Wi-Fi. And download Google Voice and use it in Hangouts to text and call. It's a free alternative. I could do it on my computer right now.
Yeah, I'm totally against borrowing for anything. Like my bike retails like $6,000, but I'm not going to take something out for it. I'm totally against that.
Yeah.
I think that you should work to save up. Of course, not huge expenses that you need, but things that you want. I think that you should work, sell stuff that you have that you don't need, and then you enjoy it more. I think you enjoy it more.
I'd like to make a couple of exceptions to that, though, because I think that taking money, like borrowing money, I think it can be justified in a couple of different cases, and that is when, like, in the case of a car or a house. House and a car, or house particular because it's a need.
Yeah.
You need a place to live. So a house or rent or something like that. That's something that I would be opposed to borrowing money from. Rent is something that you should budget for. But a house, obviously. A car, if it makes you money. And I think that's a key point that I didn't mention before, is that if it's something that can make you money, or that you will be using to just to make more money, pretty much is what I'm saying, then I think that is an exception to the rule. Also, Sean's replied, it said, yes, it was a Verizon with a 2-year contract. I'm still on the family plan that seems to divide it up as the cheapest option.
Do it.
Yeah, so I think that cell phone carriers are if Apple offers a phone for $32 a month or whatever for their one of their phones, I think that cell carriers are like, I almost want to say a scummy version of that, because they will put out commercials that say, like Boost Mobile or Cricket Wireless or whatever will put out commercials and say, buy one Samsung Galaxy S8 or insert brand newest phone available here and get one free or whatever. So you buy one for $100 or 99 cents or however much they value the phone, and then get the other one free. But what they don't tell you on the commercials, and what some people don't realize, is that they put the price of both of these phones on this 2-year contract with you now. So not only are you paying, I don't know, $50 a month for talk, text, and then unlimited data, or 2 gigs of data a month, but also now you're paying 20 or 15 or $20 a month per device. So now you've got an extra $30 to $40 that's just chilling on your bill that there's nothing you can do about because you haven't paid off the phone yet. So that's why I always think that if you can buy a phone off contract, buy a phone off contract. But also because when you buy a phone, with the exception of iPhones, if you buy any Android phone from a carrier, namely AT&T or Verizon, are two of the worst about this. They install a crap load of stuff on your phone before they give it to you, and then they send you the box, and it has all the little stuff on it. It's got the little label on the back that's got the little Verizon check mark or the AT&T Globe or whatever, and it's just a piece of junk. My AT&T LG G3. First off, they just quit updating it.
That's not Kennedy's feet.
Yeah, that's not Kennedy, by the way.
They first quit updating it like a year after I got it, and after that, it just quit working on me entirely. That's Sarah Kate. Yeah.
They said they could see your feet. They said, Kennedy, we can see your feet.
That's my beautiful fiance. If you want to put your head in the camera.
Yeah. Anyway, so my rant about phones is now over.
All right.
I'll let you guys take it away from here.
So we can move on to our next rant, being about firearms.
Oh yeah.
You want to jump into that one?
Phones and guns.
Wait, who asked that? Like, are you just bringing this up, or did someone ask?
This was.
Daniel just wants to talk about guns.
I also
I love talking
mentioned
about
to Daniel
guns.
that now that I'm 21, as soon as when I graduate, or not when I graduate, when I have a chance, probably this winter, I'm going to go and apply for my concealed carry permit. And then once I graduate, I'll actually be able to start carrying. So.
Yeah, I'm probably going to do that same sort of thing.
It's a really hard process.
Yeah.
Have you
Which is-
been
it's
in Northeast
good.
Tennessee for this process?
No.
I
That's
mean,
true.
I actually do
my driving
think.
test was driving around in the square. I can't imagine gun ownership in Northeast Tennessee.
Okay, well,
That's
I
a
mean, my
false
driving test in
equivocation
North
there.
Carolina was like that as well, but it's just money in North Carolina for a concealed permit. Time, you have to, like, once you even take the class, it's like 6 months because they have to be approved by the sheriff, like one person. And it's just, like, I was going to do it over the summer, but there wasn't enough time to do it. It was insane. I mean, which is kind of a good
I'm
thing.
glad. I'm
Yeah.
actually really glad that you
Yeah.
have to go through
Glad
this.
for them, but not for, I mean,
Yeah.
I wanted to
I
get
mean,
it, but.
I'm glad that the law, like, has it set up like that, to where you can't just go get your carry permit one day and then the
Yeah.
next day you're buying a gun.
Yeah. Well, imagine I've been to a lot of gun shows. A little bit of background. I enjoy guns for shooting sports, and I've hunted on occasion. I've never actually shot any animals. I guess I'm a bad hunter, but I love the history and I love the mechanics behind guns. So I'm a gun nut. That being said, the gun community, as in the people who are as into it as I am, has some serious stinkers in it. And I've been to a lot of gun shows, and Michael and Brent can attest to this.
Oh yeah.
You get some crazies there. We went
Yes,
to one in
you do.
East Tennessee.
Oh my gosh. Like, it's
And-
ridiculous how crazy
Yeah.
some of these people are.
Long story short, there's a lot of bad legal advice going on there.
Also,
and so-
one dude muzzle sweep everyone.
Oh yeah, there's a.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I can't stand when people like.
That's horrifying.
Oh,
Yeah, it was. I was like, oh my gosh, the guy
Yeah,
does not know anything about just normal
yeah.
gun control.
If you're not familiar with firearms, the rule is like when you're holding a gun, you should never allow the end of the barrel to like pass by in front of someone. Like you shouldn't just be walking around like, "Hey guys, what's up?"
You never aim at anything unless
You're ready
plan
to
on
destroy
taking,
it.
unless you're ready to possibly destroy whatever you're aiming at.
That being
just a
said,
general,
at this gun show, some 50-year-old dude was like really happy about this FAL he just bought, and he was straight Rambo, like looking at it like, oh man, check this out. And I could see all the way through the barrel. I was like,
And then they're like, it's not loaded. I don't care.
yeah, all it takes is
I
one time
do
for it to be
not
loaded.
care.
It's rude.
You do not point a gun at anyone, or even like if people are out shooting at a range and their finger is on the trigger.
Oh,
When they're not,
gosh, yeah.
like your finger better not be on the trigger until you are 100% aiming at your target, ready. Like
That's something
even
that-
when you're aiming, your finger is not like.
yeah, until
That's
you're
my
ready.
pet peeve. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's something that bothers me in movies a lot too. Is I cannot count the number of times that a character has been on a TV show or in a movie, and you know all the guys are stacked up, ready to go into the room, and their fingers are like one spasm away from shooting their buddy in the back, because I mean it's just all up on the trigger, and that's no trained professional like these people in the movies are supposed to be would ever even think that's a good idea. Like,
but that doesn't make for a good.
that's true.
Tense
I guess it
moment.
doesn't make for interesting filmmaking, but
So,
I
as a storytelling professor once told me, don't let the truth get in the way of a good story.
Sean
accurate.
Sean says, my biggest problem with firearms is that many states, including Tennessee, do not have laws against leaving loaded firearms laying around the house, even if a child found it and shot someone.
I'm pretty sure. Isn't there a law about that?
I'm not sure about Tennessee. I know
North
there's one
Carolina
in
has one.
Georgia,
I've never looked
and there's
into
not one
current
in
Tennessee's.
Indiana.
Wait, did you say there's not one in Georgia?
I don't think there's one in Georgia.
Okay.
I don't
There's
have-
if there's a in North Carolina, I think. Don't quote me on this, but if there's a firearm that can be fired with reasonable, like, by an underage,
Yeah.
then you can go to jail. I think.
Yeah.
A lot of
In
the
North
time,
Carolina.
at least where I'm from in Northeast Tennessee, these, like even having the loaded gun, these kids have been taught from a very young age firearm safety, because some of them have to hunt to take care of getting food for their family, and not all of them do, but a lot of the time, like in this area, parents are teaching their kids how to hunt because, one, it can be a source of income to sell meat, skin, all that sort of stuff, and it can be a source of food, although it's not always a great way to be taking care of your family, and like, but teaching these kids at a young age, even if you have loaded firearms laying around, most of them do know some of the safety laws.
And usually, if it's a family like that, they don't leave them loaded.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Is like leaving loaded firearms around is usually someone who doesn't understand
Yeah,
firearm
the most
safety.
irresponsible.
Yeah.
That is true.
And that's when it ends badly. And I know I've heard a lot of stories when I spent the summer in Indiana with Kennedy and her family of people who were involved in accidents exactly for that reason. And as far as I know, I don't think there are any laws in Indiana about that. So that's honestly, I like the sound of that law.
Yeah, I think that would be a really good law.
There's just guns are incredibly dangerous things,
Yes.
and people in America can sometimes be a little too irresponsible with them.
I think you should teach gun safety from a young age.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
think if you're even going to think about having a gun in the house, even if it's like kept a secret from your kids, I think that it would be a good idea to teach them about gun safety and make them
Make them at least respect the
Yeah.
respect it.
Make them
Even if
realize
they're-
that it's not a toy.
even if they're not comfortable around guns. I don't know. Would it be too much to say that you should make them be comfortable around guns?
I don't think you should force them to be,
Well,
because
yeah.
then that
Yeah.
would imply that you're like being like, all right, kid, I have this gun. This is where I have it.
Yeah.
Like, just
I mean,
teaching them safety in general, like guidelines of guns is important, but keeping it around, letting your children know where you keep them, can end up in bad situations.
yeah. It's just like, I don't know, for someone who has been around guns all their life, a lot of this stuff seems like common sense for us.
Yeah.
And like for all of us. But I mean, if I wasn't around guns a lot and I was in a city somewhere and I was like, I probably need something just in case, I'm sure I wouldn't think of this stuff. So yeah, I think there needs to be a little more education for a lot of people. Not for people like us who have been around a lot, even though it doesn't hurt us. So if they made like a sweeping thing of, hey, everyone has to, be educated, that's not going to affect us negatively. We're just going to be like, oh, well, that's annoying.
A quick interjection here. I didn't see this through the torrent of text messages I've been getting for the past half hour from certain people.
Yep, we've been seeing every single one of them on
But Caleb Perney actually said, well, he interjected when we were talking about the last topic about phones and money and things like that. And he said, nice. He said, Wi-Fi isn't everywhere and you can't call 911 on voice. To which I would like to respond quickly. You're right, you can't call 911 on voice unless you sign up for a service which is free, which allows you to call 911 on Google Voice, and actually is very accurate. It uses it uses GPS in your phone and also the Wi-Fi signal that you're using to call the number, and it's very quick and very accurate. But I would like to point out that there is an option because.
But what about the no Wi-Fi thing?
Well, yeah, you're right about the Wi-Fi, but at the same time, I mean, there isn't cell service everywhere either. I mean, cell service is more widespread than Wi-Fi, but
so this works for people who live in densely populated areas.
Yeah, I mean, even for me, if I know where I'm going and where I'm going and where I'm coming from both have Wi-Fi. So far, that's always been the case.
Except for my house for a night.
Yeah. Well, there was Wi-Fi at your house, but there was.
Yeah, my house was.
There was.
The weekend.
Yeah, there was no service there.
No service.
Yeah.
So it didn't matter
But
anyways.
I'm honestly glad that there are some places that don't have service, because then
I love it. Like
it forces people to put down their phone.
Yeah, and that's we were talking about that in Christ and Culture today too. It's like just putting down your phone. It's almost therapeutic, but it's people. I always hear people who are like on Facebook and they're like, "Yeah, I did this thing where I put my phone down for a week and I didn't use it, and and all that stuff." And then, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, you put down your phone, but it's not like you weren't going to go back to it.
Yeah.
I mean,
like you knew at some point you were going to pick your phone back up.
If all the cell towers around here just completely quit working and there was no internet, how would we do a lot of things? So I would have to. I know I personally
wouldn't have to stream.
I would have to. I would have to change. You're right. I would have to change the way that I wake up in the morning. I would have to change the way that I talk to other people, and I think that's the biggest one. And I think it should be, because that's what a phone is for. I would also have to change the way that I
manage your bank, manage.
Yeah,
your
exactly. So manage my bank, stock market, which actually I sold all my stocks today because I'm buying a new phone in a few days. So anyways, I couldn't have done that without my phone. There's no way that I could have used my thing to do that online unless I'd done some other. It would have been complicated. But anyways, I would have to change the way that. I would have to have a clock in front of me almost all the time, or a wristwatch or something, like a real wristwatch, to go to dinner. Because if I needed to meet somebody at dinner, I would have to give them both a place and a time, and that's something that we're not used to these days, with just picking up your phone and saying, "Hey, do you want to go to dinner right now?" And then somebody was like, "Yeah, sure," or "No." That's something that we'd all have to change. I don't know. What are some things that we'd have to change if we didn't have phones?
Well, we'd have to change our jobs, or our future, because
that's true.
3 of us in here are communications major, or 4 of us in here are communications majors, and a lot of our job revolves around technology and just the advancement of technology, whether or not we're advancing it or using technology to advance what we're doing. Like, we would have to completely change it if we didn't have Wi-Fi, we didn't have phone service, anything like that. We'd have to go either find a place that does, or learn new ways to do what we do.
So basically, if the apocalypse hit, we wouldn't be that useful. But we could make some mean stories, and we could gather around that campfire and tell. We'd have an
That
awesome.
campfire song.
So there are some advantages
Yeah.
to it. And some disadvantages.
Basically,
Also-
we have high charisma.
Also, Sean liked nice Fallout reference there. Also, Sean liked to say that he said when he was younger, he found an old classic Nokia phone and called 911 because he assumed it wouldn't work, but it did. LOL. If I didn't have he said if it didn't have a SIM card,
It didn't have a SIM.
it didn't have a SIM card. I feel that most phones can do the same thing today, and you're absolutely right. I didn't even think of that. If you have a phone, okay, online, if you need to call 911, you can't just go on Skype or Google or something and be like 911, because you can call phone numbers from your computer, but you can't call 911 unless you sign up for a emergency services subscription from a website, which those are available. But in a phone, any phone, even if it's not, even if it doesn't have a SIM card in it, like I have 2 flip phones in my room right now that have the batteries that are they're 50% charged, and they're taken out and put in Ziploc baggies. And if you ever needed to call 911, you just pop. Okay, that it seems weird, but that's like one of the best ways to preserve the amount of charge on a phone battery. Is let it go about halfway and put it in a Ziploc baggie. But anyways, so if I ever needed to call 911, like if I had one of those in the trunk of my car, which actually would probably be a good idea, I could pick up the phone, put the battery in, turn it on, and dial 911. And I wouldn't have to have any kind of plan, subscription, or anything. And it wouldn't even matter if it was an AT&T phone and if it was out of AT&T coverage. If it had any coverage from any carrier, FCC laws require that you have to be able to connect to emergency services from a phone if the tower has to allow any emergency traffic through it. So that's just an interesting little tidbit.
Back in the good old days, before we had all these cell phones and fancy schmancy stuff.
The Kennedy Fan Club also likes to, and I don't know who this is still, but the Kennedy Fan Club would like to say that we wouldn't be able to get anywhere without our phones, and I think that's also true. Very good point.
That is unfortunate.
Yeah, that is
Yeah,
unfortunate.
It is unfortunate.
But I have 2 stories where I have not had my cell phone for 10 days.
Oh,
Oh. Did you
And-
know you were going to have it at the end of those 10 days?
Yeah, because it was trips.
Okay.
And not only did I not have my phone, there was no service, and no one I was with had. So the first one was in New Mexico. We did a 100-mile backpacking trip. No service, no phones. There was 10 of us. No roads whatsoever. And we got stuck in 8 severe lightning storms during this trip.
Oh,
And there was
man.
no shelter. And I felt completely helpless. Second time was in West Africa. Not only was there no cell phone, there was no cell phone towers, there was no law, there was no police, there was no nothing, and we were 5 days out into the bush for 10 days, and I felt completely helpless because if one of our appendixes would have ruptured or something, we would have died.
On the off chance your appendix had ruptured.
Just do self-surgery.
We would have
Everyone
died.
does self-surgery.
Yeah.
I've never felt so helpless in my life because there was not even a tower. They don't even know. In the city, there was one tower, and none of ours worked on it, of course, but it was just crazy to be because we were 4 days out from that place where there was still no law or anything. So it was crazy.
Wow.
Do you think you would have felt differently had you never used a cell phone before?
Oh yeah,
Never had service.
people out there. It's just their normal life, you know.
Yeah.
So
Pretty self-sufficient.
we brought a small projector to show videos on. Blew their mind. We were the first white people that they had been through there in 20 years, and it blew their mind that we had a tiny little projector and we're putting it on this tiny little. It was crazy.
Wow.
But yeah, so I kind of wish that we lived like that. But I'm kind of a hippie down under. I don't always show it, but
That's okay.
There are times where I like it both.
yeah.
I like the idea of not everyone being attached to their cell phones, always just
Yeah.
staring straight down at it. But also, I know that without this advancement in technology, it's
Tell 'em
made
that's
things a little bit safer for at least those who have it. It has
Yeah.
made it safer.
It's extended our lives.
Yes,
honestly.
it definitely has, and I think advancing technology is very important. It just there are times where I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, there's
I
always
just-
going to be something lost.
Yeah, sometimes I know I personally struggle a lot with face-to-face conversations with other people. But talking to them through text message or email or anything like that, like I'm just fine with that. It's when I have to actually use my voice to talk to others that I struggle a lot, and that's partially because I'm introverted, but it's also because technology.
Yeah. Well, on that note, would we like to roll our special
Yeah, I think we need to
video?
roll this video.
Absolutely.
I can't wait.
How many
I'm
people
so
do we have
I
right
have
now?
not seen the whole thing.
Sorry.
I'm so excited.
6 people right now.
Six
So,
people?
All right.
You 6 people are about to
sounds
be
good.
enlightened.
Yes,
All right.
this is going to be
This is a Milligan tradition that we are documenting for generations to come.
Oh.
All right,
Hold
I'm
on,
I'm gonna try and make it to where it'll play the sound on the TV, but no promises. But you can
I don't
come in
think we
here.
should tell them what the tradition is
You're
yet.
going to mute us too, so
Yes.
through it. Okay.
Okay.
Right, you're-
Noah says wait a few minutes.
Noah says wait a few minutes.
Noah,
Ask him why.
get up here. We're gonna
Why
fight,
do you want
Noah.
this, Noah? Why?
Noah.
I love you, Noah.
Which
actually.
Noah? Noah
That's
Evans?
my
Sense
love
thing,
team.
right?
Huh?
Parker.
Wonder if
Parka?
I wonder if Peter still watches.
I don't know, but Noah played a big part in this video, so I think we should.
You're
Yeah, I
right.
Yeah,
think
that's
we should
true. We should
definitely
respect
wait
his wishes.
'Cause
He's really
very-
funny in this.
He's a very introvert.
Oh,
Noah said he's
who
good
says
now.
I'm good now?
You're
Oh,
good
come
now,
on.
Noah?
Come on,
All right.
Noah.
You had to pee.
Oh,
Oh
Sean,
my
That's fair.
God.
That's fair.
Sean W said, I feel short-range wireless technology such as Bluetooth and NFC have so much potential, yet it's barely used for anything. I agree.
Yeah, well, that's what they said about the
I'm too
HVAC
lazy to
Bluetooth.
hook up, turn on Bluetooth on my phone and hook it up to anything.
I mean, Bluetooth, it used to be amazing, but it feels like a gimmick now. Like, ow.
Oh my gosh.
Everyone's like, I've got Bluetooth this or I've got Bluetooth that.
Bluetooth headphones are like, I think the only implementation I've even
And you have to
seen.
get such good quality Bluetooth to
And-
make it worth it.
And literally all NFC is for hooking up 2 Bluetooth devices together. That's all it is.
Also,
There is no
I'm
other use.
Absolutely in love with Bluetooth headphones.
Me too.
Just, just
Dude,
Nice.
$90? What kind of contacts do you have?
So are we gonna roll this video?
yeah.
kidding.
Let's go.
I think I'm ready to roll.
All right,
I'm
yeah,
ready
I'm
to
ready to roll the
laugh.
All
segment.
right, we're gonna roll.
I
the
hope you
video.
guys
All
are
right.
ready to laugh.
Yeah, I know.
We'll be back after this short little segment.
They
No,
can probably
not from
faintly
there.
hear you. There we go.
Hi, I'm Daniel Peacock, and I'm here with the Thursday Show. Today, we have a very, very special story to bring you. Looking to usurp the current record holder, Mr. Drew here, is currently searching for the finest nut he can find in preparation to break the nut rolling record.
And I'm Noah Parker.
Yeah, my name's Drew. Nut throwing is it's a big tradition here at Milligan. So last year we went for a record up on the hill up there. It wasn't good enough. So this year, 2017 is going to be the year that we go from the village to the drain.
From the village to the drain. Let's get these nuts rolling. So tell me, Drew, what made you choose the village as the place to launch your record-breaking nut roll?
Well, you know, people just kept bringing their records farther and farther up this road. The highest place on campus you can feasibly roll a nut from is the village parking lot. I mean, to find the highest elevation of road, continuous road to the drain on campus, and we ended up behind the village.
You've been really busting your chops for the last, 4 or 5 years. Do you think you can pull it off in one go?
Yeah, like I'm pulling up some like David and Goliath stuff. You know, I got 3. I'm only gonna need 1.
So tell me, what sort of traditions and rituals do you have to prepare for this nut throw?
Yeah, I've got some important rituals. So, I mean, you're gonna see it during the actual thing. I call it the flamingo, where I stand on one leg and do 3 squats. I of course have my lucky underwear on. They have acorns on them, because, you know, nuts. You have to find a really circular and firm nut for this record-breaking throw.
So what's going on here?
Super important to keep your core temperature down. Temperature is definitely going to be playing a factor out here today. Also, the heat's going to play a factor in the distance between the air molecules of the rolling of the actual nut.
I'm here with one of Drew's many fans, Aaron Donovan, who came out today to spectate the shattering of this world record. So tell me, what interest do you have in the nut rolling industry?
I've just always been a really big fan of Deez Nuts. They're my favorite. He's my favorite nut roller.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, so you know, tradition went pretty well. Arm was feeling pretty good. Yeah, overall, I think that was a pretty good shot. We'll check the cameras on the course.
Is it already in there?
It's a sad day in the world of nut throwing. I mean, you know, we tried for the record. There's always next year.
That's really sad.
Thank you.
Are we
All
unmuted
right,
yet?
and we're back.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Thursday show. It's a beautiful Thursday, and you just saw a cute little video we made for you.
First of all, thanks Noah for making that video.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
funny.
Shout out to
Thank
Noah
you,
Parka
And Aaron Donovan for also
and
being
Aaron.
one of the Drewbies. It was actually quite fun to film this one.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
These are so much fun to make, in my
Yeah.
opinion. I
We
think
just-
we need
just
to.
do stupid stuff.
The thing is, though, that's a legit tradition. Is
Yeah, that's
nut
true.
rolling.
Yes.
Um,
Do you want to go over that tradition? So
Yeah, Drew, explain
it's
it
kind
to
of
us.
well, it's kind of dying this year, so that's kind of why I like doing the video. But especially last year, old Joey Evans played Deez Nuts like every day. But there's a walnut tree, a black walnut. The Latin name I think is Julius Negras.
All
Just-
right.
I don't-
Mr. Greek.
Yeah, but there's this nut tree at the top by the calf. You try to roll it down the hill and make it into the drain. Unfortunately, thanks Noah, you ran it over. It was about to be the record, but Noah ruined it. So thank you, Noah.
What a shame.
Shout out to Noah.
We love you,
My
Noah.
boy.
All right, now I think it's about time in the show. If anybody watching has any comments or questions, we can address them. and we'll just start to wind down from here. We're probably going to shoot for about an hour from now on, just purely because of attention spans.
Yeah.
We're busy
it's also
people.
a lot easier for us to do an hour versus 2 hours.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, if anybody in the comment section wants to drop us a comment and ask us a question or something like that, we'll talk to you guys for a little while. The Kennedy Fan Club says, how much soda do y'all consume in a week? That is how much soda we consume in a week.
No, how much soda does Brent consume?
Yeah, that's all. It's all me.
Brent consumes a lot of soda.
Listen,
He doesn't believe in water.
I only drink Zevia, 0 calorie, so
You also drink Le Crap.
and LaCroix.
yeah,
I love that stuff.
Let me just say, my philosophy is where coffee and energy drinks are some people's forte. Me, it's soda. I love soda.
Yeah, but there's like 3 calories in a cup of coffee, and
Really?
like 3 or 4.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really not much. It's
I need-
What if you add the creamer and the sugar?
I don't add cream or sugar though.
I need coffee then. Okay, that's single-handedly convinced me to switch to coffee.
He makes really good coffee, so just ask him.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm kind of a coffee snob. So.
Lop Z Muted Shark 12 says, "Phew, this is a little bit of pressure."
It is
All right,
a little
first
bit of
off, the
pressure.
username.
First off,
However-
tell us what this pressure is.
Yeah. Also,
I
what
know
is this
who
username?
Muted Shark is.
You do know who it is?
I once joined Muted Shark on the field of battle, and he fought valiantly and fought very well.
Do you know him personally?
Oh, I have a question.
Yeah, it's
Uh-oh.
Kennedy's
I have a
brother.
question for you guys.
Oh.
They can
Okay.
hear you because of my
Okay,
microphone.
yeah, I have a question. So you know how like some like groups of friends have like the stereotype of like the leader and the smart one and the introvert and the klutz.
I'm all of those.
What are you guys in this suite?
Oh,
I'm
gosh.
all of them, and you are none of them.
They call me Biggie Cheese.
We're like a mismatch. We do
Yeah.
not go together.
Like, in normal situations, we probably wouldn't have ended up all together.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Like, Drew and I, freshman year, like, we were suite mates to start out with. We came into web, and, like, neither of our roommates showed up. And about, like, both of us had our own rooms for a few weeks.
We were
of the
living the
semester.
life.
Like, it was amazing.
Pure heaven.
And like 2 weeks into it, they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna charge you an extra $200, or you're just gonna have to find a new roommate." So I was just like, "All right, I'll just move in with Drew." I don't think otherwise we would have hung out. Like,
Probably
in all
not.
honesty, like
We still
we don't
didn't
have,
then
We
much.
don't have classes together. Like, completely different majors. Just
I know nothing about technology or communications
but we just
whatsoever.
I know.
We have lived together 3 out of the 4 years now.
This is true.
and it's like I'm
And
really
then
glad it ended up that way.
Daniel and Conley were across the hall.
Yeah. So we were across the hall, and
And Brent was like
Brent was
right
down the
beside
hall.
Brent
us.
was down the hall.
And every night, this is another
we
time I
yelled
got
at Brent
mad.
every night.
He blared his subwoofer at like midnight, and it was right beside my head through the brick wall.
Yeah, it was.
And it was just like,
right.
Now,
I'm,
let me tell you about the unlikely friendship of Brent and I, because my introduction to Brent freshman year, we didn't know each other all that well. I just knew he lived up the hall from me, and we had talked some, and we'd hung out a little. One night, I casually mentioned, while Brent's in the area, "Hey, I just got some milk from Dollar General, blah, 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 blah. If anybody wants anything, or if anybody needs anything, swing by my room." It's one of those offers no one is actually supposed to take you up on.
yeah,
People-
you don't
people
want
from
people
the-
to
You're
actually
saying that
take
to
People
be
from
nice.
the
it's a
south.
slight
Okay,
offer,
time out.
But they don't mean
Time
it.
out. People from the south do that. People from the north
You're
do
right.
not do that. If you offer something and someone takes it, it's okay.
Okay,
I
well,
like
if you
to
do that in
From
the
the
South,
south.
But
you're
you
gonna
know,
get gossiped
in the
about. I'm
South,
sorry.
It's like a normal, like, "Hey, I have this, but I'm not expecting you to come over and need it."
I'd like to say that I consider Kentucky South. I don't know what you guys consider.
It's kind of
South.
one of those in-between states.
It's
We,
a border
we
state.
have
It's a little
sweet tea.
Yankish.
Technically, where I am was not considered part of the South when it
The
was.
historical.
But in
So-
historically speaking, technically wasn't part of the South.
I think that a good judgment of whether or not you're in the South is if you can go to a restaurant that's not McDonald's and order sweet tea, and it's good.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
yeah.
fair.
I think that's a fair.
You guys who are from the South are like, yep, okay.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
That's fair.
Well, I'm from Indiana, and that's true.
Yeah.
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 Well, but yeah. So, anyways, I'm asleep in my bed at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Versus being asleep just somewhere else.
As opposed
Yeah,
to
yeah.
normally, what I normally do, I sleep on the floor with my teddy bear.
That's it.
I was asleep in my bed for once, and I didn't know anything happened. And the next morning, I look at my phone, and I have a message from Brent Doolittle, and it is a selfie of him standing over my sleeping body in my bed, and the caption is Salfies, Salfies. I haven't forgotten that detail in 4 years. Salfies with you, bro.
This is one of our first ever introductions of this person.
I was like, who is this kid? He snuck into our room at night while Conley and I were both asleep, stole some milk from me, and then took a selfie with me while I was sleeping.
Also, Brent, were
Send
you
it
the
to
one
me.
that would come into our room and like flip our chairs over and everything?
Yeah, we would wake up. Me and Michael Kelly would wake up. Our chair
Sorry.
would be in the middle of the room, flipped over, and it's like we did not leave.
Okay,
that
wait a
chair
second.
Flipped
Was
over.
that you or
What?
was that somebody else?
That was
Someone
you.
was
You told me
sleeping
you
in
did
our
it.
room, and that the
You took a
chairs
selfie
would
with
be-
me too.
Hang on a second. Our camera feed is frozen for some
Oh,
reason.
no.
Well, we're still video.
If people
Okay.
can still hear us, that's fine. But yeah, so we would just wake up.
Look at us. Aww.
We would just wake up and our chairs would be just
Yeah,
on,
flipped over like
flipped over,
in the middle.
down in the middle of the floor.
So we started locking our doors.
Yeah, that's what single-handedly got us to lock our doors at night. Freshman year.
I don't know.
Yeah, so as long as there's still audio,
Yeah, there's still audio.
there's still audio.
We're good.
You sure?
So we're
Yeah.
sorry that you're not going to get our beautiful faces doing things.
Unless I
You're
do
just going to be stuck on this one
that.
photo of us.
Maybe.
Yeah, I have no clue what's going on.
It's a good picture, so.
Well, for now, we're a podcast.
Answering the question, like, what stereotype are you?
Oh, that's fair.
I think everyone else, like, each of us should have to give the whole group, like,
Okay, yeah.
so what we think each person would be.
All right.
And we have to accept what everyone else says. We can't be like, no, you're absolutely wrong.
Okay.
I completely hate what you just stated. We have to go along with what each person says.
That works.
So what were our categories? And
I think you guys should come up with your own category.
Yeah, it can be any category, I guess.
Yeah.
Drew, hit us with yours.
Gosh, I'm like trying to think right now of stereotypes.
Daniel is definitely the extrovert.
That's funny because I
Yeah,
don't feel like an extrovert. Like I'm more introverted than a lot of people.
you're like the overly nice, like hang out with you're everyone's friend.
So like you're this typical Southern idea that you'll talk to anybody, you know everyone,
Yeah,
and you're willing to just keep up the conversation.
and like my mountain bike race, like a few weeks in, Daniel shows up. I'm like, I barely know this kid, but he's out here like cheering
Yeah.
when there's like no one here. It was really funny.
Well, thank you.
So-
That's really nice. Thank you guys.
Like,
Yeah,
that's-
usually stereotypes are mean, but that's
Yeah,
a good one.
but we're just gonna throw our stereotypes at each other, and that's just gonna go great.
Quick update: I have installed a temporary workaround, which involves me screen recording the camera app just being
Oh.
open.
So it's
my-
just gonna have these boxes on our face.
Yeah. So this is face.
That's okay.
This is face recognition.
Okay.
Well, it doesn't recognize my face, so it
Microsoft
must
is
be
like,
pretty
oh, I see a
ugly.
face. Narwhal Herpes says, I hate my name. How do I change it? Oh, I don't know, man.
You have to go. There's a lot of legal work involved. Like I think you have to go to your local, courts to try and get that fixed.
You give me a compliment.
Drew is stuck to the chair.
know why this keeps happening.
Sean Whitson says, "Will Aaron take over the Thursday show when you graduate?" No, sorry.
No, it's still going to be our
It's
show.
going to be
Let's
us.
just
We're going to be in a
stream from
different
elsewhere.
location with an actual background, which probably
Yeah.
will appear next week, hopefully. Or actually, sorry, let's talk about that for a second. Next week we're not having a show. It's going to be fall break.
Okay.
I would like to promote our End of the World special. We have postponed the End of the World from next week until the week after because we'll be back from fall break and we're going to have some very exciting guests on, including but not limited to Nate Wenzel,
Dr. Nate Wenzel.
Dr. Nate Wenzel, Dr. Brian Eisenbach. Brian Eisenbach?
Yes,
Eisenbach
Brian
from the
Eisenbach.
biology department. Who else? Dr. Jeff Miller, I think. He emailed me back. And also, I'm going to ask, because I have not asked yet, I'm going to ask Amy Edmonds to come on and talk about. We're going to talk about some different ways the world might end. And maybe, possibly, what's the most likely way it's going to end. Maybe what to do about that. I don't know. So,
Also, we need
Alright,
to finish
let's
stereotyping
keep
each
going
other.
on the
yeah,
stereotypes.
so
This
sorry
is
for
juicy.
that little interruption there. Yeah.
Drew, let's hit someone else.
Drew, go. Everyone stereotype.
All right, so we have to stereotype Drew.
Oh, okay.
Okay. It's kind of hard to stereotype him. because,
Drew
like,
is literally Nick Offerman's character from Parks and Rec, but much more personable.
Yeah, that's true.
Like the ultimate mountain man.
I'm always
Yes,
going later.
but also, like, he's got a very good sense of fashion, somewhat.
That's true.
Like, not like fashion, but like.
He's a good-looking man.
he's-
Just say
he's
it.
Pretty
He's a
well
good-looking man.
dressed most of the time, which is, if like you knew like a lot about him, it would be kind of surprising. Like, he's from the mountains of North Carolina. Like, he likes to hunt, be outside, be outdoors. All
He
the
rides
time.
bikes for a living.
Yeah, he rides bikes.
They're supposed to dress
like,
weird.
and he's
They wear leotards.
Hey.
yeah. So like I mean, it's hard to stereotype him.
I feel like it can fall into many different stereotypes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, whoever I'm with, like, I can relate, basically.
Yeah.
So.
You're our survivalist.
Yes, survivalist.
And most people don't know that I hunt. Like,
Yeah.
if I tell them,
Like, you wouldn't
They're like-
He's a
just looking at Drew, you wouldn't know that.
He's true granola. Hipsters who want to be like mountainy but can't really pull it off, they're crunchy granola. Drew's a hipster who does pull it off. He's
Yeah.
actual granola.
Yes.
Hey Daniel, if you want to open up your laptop and look at the live comments, so I don't have to read them every time.
No, my laptop's on 2% actually.
Oh, okay.
3%.
Do you want?
He lied to
Do you want me to
every single
connect this
person.
MacBook charger that's back here? Sorry.
Yeah, you can use my charger to connect.
Yeah, there's just one lying around back here.
all right.
Also, by the way, I have no update on my laptop, so I need to get an update on that.
Oh yeah.
I literally have heard nothing from them.
Speaking of updates and laptops, Mac OS, what is it now? 12 or whatever?
iOS 11? Is that
No,
what
no,
you're
no, no.
talking
Oh,
about?
at Mac OS.
Oh,
the
well,
new one came
I
out.
have not heard what the new OS is.
The beta version. It's like, it's High Sierra is what they're calling it.
High Sierra.
Yeah.
On that note, Brent is our techie.
Shut up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Brent is definitely
that's what I
techie.
view Brent as. Is he's like always doing like the lights. Like, I would never think. Okay, Google.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's,
Lights.
Look, you just made my phone go off.
he's our Google salesperson. He will
There it is.
advise
Lights.
you to get Google
It's not gonna do that.
everything, as you probably saw, listened, or heard earlier in the stream.
Oh, whoops.
Where he was like, here's a shameless plug for Google.
There we go.
Yeah, so he's definitely our techie.
Yeah. He's on the cutting edge of pretty much everything.
Like the guy that you see with the camera at every event.
Okay, Narwhal Herpes really wants to know how much the fridge cost, and we don't
We
have
have
any
no
idea.
idea.
We
This
didn't buy
came
that
with our
fridge.
dorm building.
Yes.
And it's a dang good fridge
Yeah,
It
too.
is.
It's a
It's
good
really
fridge.
cold.
Like it keeps things extra cold.
I put an Nalgene in there. Came back 15 minutes later. It had an inch of ice on top of it. I was like,
Awesome. In the fridge?
no, in the freezer.
Oh, okay.
Also,
I was like, that's like -20.
yeah. Narwhal Herpes says, "Tell me," and we cannot because we do not know.
We do not know the price.
Priceless.
$6.
That's it.
That's our
That's
estimate.
go to-
our estimate.
All right,
Go
you
to
have to
bed.
think of a stereotype for jelly now.
Oh,
All right, jelly.
I feel like this is a hard one too. I'm trying to think.
You and I kind of defy stereotypes.
I feel like we all
This is a hard one.
like it's hard to just stereotype.
None of
Like-
us really fall
like-
under.
Because in high school, I was the kid that literally hung out with everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I fit in with the athletes. I fit in with all the.
Because you were like a football player.
Yeah,
weren't you?
I was a football player, but I had a high
Yeah.
GPA, and I was taking college classes, and but I was still an athlete, and still and I'm also a video game junkie, and I was able to talk to people about that in high school.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really hard to just stereotype.
I
someone.
feel like we're a suite
the,
of
the more you know somebody,
non-stereotypes.
it's harder to just give them one story.
Yeah.
But if Michael was to if you needed Michael for something, what would you need him for?
I mean, tech stuff. He knows
Yeah.
tech stuff, not as much as Brent, because Brent could look at a laptop for 5 seconds and
Tell you what's wrong.
tell you where it came from and
How much it costs.
what its favorite milkshake flavor is.
Probably could tell you.
Except for fridges.
I probably
You
could
can't
tell you how
fridges.
much
He
it
knows
costs.
nothing about fridges.
Nothing about the fridge.
Sorry, narwhal herpes, but
This laptop here costs
First of all, I'm terrible at doing
$200.
So I'm really
stuff.
sorry I just hit the mic.
This cost $800.
So are you trying to say I'm a low-end techie? Like
a boneless techie.
a county school IT kind of guy.
that is a horrible, awful
That is so
thing
funny.
to
I'm
say.
really sorry. That was just
It's like the.
it's a stereotype.
Sorry to our
and I'm
county
really
school
sorry
techies.
because I think a lot of the where I'm from, the county IT guys are great.
I think that's like a
There's
southern
ones
thing
that's
too.
not, but
Because
Oh, it is.
the high T guys at my school were no
Where are the 8-tracks at?
They could plug in stuff, and that was they were the big redneck guys, and they were in the ceilings just plugging random stuff in, trying to get. They're
Is it on
I
yet?
think this one goes right here, and they just plug in
I'm
stuff.
actually talking about the professional IT guys.
Okay.
That it's their job.
Yeah.
And I was making a joke about that. In all seriousness, those guys are great with their IT, and I really appreciate it.
I think Michael has some of the sharpest wit out of all of us.
Oh my gosh.
If Michael roasts you,
Every
You better
single
grab some
time,
aloe.
every single time I say I have to go to the bathroom, what do you say, Michael?
Don't get lost.
No, you say every single time I say I have to go to the bathroom, he says, "Then go." If only I knew how.
I like to give solutions for things. And if someone's
Okay.
I'm having this problem, it's well, this is how you fix this problem.
I have a
Okay,
problem.
let
I must restroom.
me say something about Michael. Michael, if I needed someone to be brutally honest with me and tell me just straight up how it is, I would go to you.
Is
Like-
that good
That's
or
fair.
bad?
No,
That's a
every
good
single
thing.
time because I trust you and I know that you're not gonna fluff things up for me.
Yeah,
Unlike Daniel.
that's true.
Daniel-
I'm a little
Daniel
too southern in
cannot
that
say
regard.
no.
I'll have to say,
cannot
yeah,
say no.
That's
He will
one of-
make all sorts of excuses to go around it, but he cannot say no to you or anybody.
Major
Well,
Gash Basher is currently being very meta and referring to our last stream that we did in which we talked about dying pets.
That was depressing, and we're moving on.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that. Anyways.
Daniel, will you marry me?
Oh, Drew.
Okay,
Can't say no.
I mean, I'm busy.
that's the kind of stuff you would say. It's there's a million ways to get around saying the word no.
I'm sorry. I
Without
think my
saying
hernia came
no.
back. I don't think I can marry you, Drew.
You know, call me next week.
Yeah, hit me up on Insta and we'll see.
Also, he still hasn't sent any email that I asked him to send.
That's true. I didn't need to send that. That's my
Yeah,
bad.
I need you to send it though.
Who's the biggest procrastinator in this?
Brent.
It's definitely not.
Brent.
It's definitely not me.
Brent.
Shout out live to anybody on the stream who just heard me fart.
Also, still Brent. That's the biggest procrastinator.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a close second,
Yeah,
though.
Daniel-
Yeah, I think it's it depends on the day between Daniel and Brent.
Yeah. I'm pretty bad at it too, but
crap.
Brent,
Sorry.
Brent Brent did a project that was due, like, the day it was due.
That night, the first night that we started our homework stream, that was the night that I was supposed to be doing my hurricane art board for our little infographic we were doing, and now that the project's over with, I can just go ahead and admit that I did not do it that night.
No, he did 0% of. Well, okay, sorry, he put Hurricane Harvey on the screen.
Yeah, if you go back to our previous video and
About
watch
9%.
it, pretty much the entire video was just Hurricane Harvey in the bottom of the screen, and then me getting distracted because of Drew and his wig and his guitar.
This whole stream birthed out of procrastination.
Yep.
This should be the procrastination.
This is
show.
the epitome of technology and
I have a
procrastination.
huge bibliography due in the morning with research. I have to go to the library. And
Today?
it's tomorrow, the morning at 11. So this is a procrastination show.
I don't even know what's happening in the comments right now.
Silence. I think we need to have more silence.
Today's the 28th.
It's the 30th.
in our
Saturday's
society.
the 30th.
Yeah.
So we're trying. Well, once again, I mean, this one's kind of on me because I didn't send an email out early enough. But we didn't send an email out early enough. Usually it's me. That to get the crew together, but also it shouldn't be as difficult as it is to get streams.
Speaking of streams and Saturday, tune back in on Saturday for our next episode in the adventures of Chloe in Life is Strange.
I was the only reason I said Chloe is because I thought Max at first, and I thought someone else would say that too.
Yeah, so in Life is Strange episode 2, and our last video that we did actually got hit with a copyright claim because of the music that the video game used, which I think is fair use, but I don't really care enough to contest it at this point. So
that's really weird. Like,
yeah,
we had, how many viewers did we have watching it, or have,
like 12 or 15.
and how many views on it have we had since then?
Total is like 50 or 60, I think.
That's not bad.
The YouTube algorithm is what does the whole.
Yeah,
Because there's no way a person could police the site that much.
that's true.
Anyways. You're right. Oh, okay. All right. It's about that time. We started a little late today. We will usually be able to start at about 9, but since there was other events going on, we started about 9:30 today. But it is now 11 o'clock, and we're going to wrap it up. And make sure to tune in on Saturday in just 2 days. Drew's butt is stuck to the chair again.
I think he was walking around with that one on purpose.
Be sure to tune in this Saturday for the Thursday show Saturday edition. And then after that, we're going to be taking a small break for a week. And then after fall break, we will be back with our End of the World special and another episode of this Thursday show Saturday edition. Boys, you want to play us out?
All right. Thank you all very much for watching. Again, don't forget to tune in for our end of the year special. There's no better way to die. Have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you guys next Thursday. Well,
Saturday.
Saturday. We'll see you. We'll see you on the Saturday edition of the Thursday show.